Welcome to the Warrioress Within workshop. Small introduction about myself as we welcome some people. So my name is Sandi. I started Medicine Within around 3 or 4 years ago, and this came as tools I've learned along the way that helped me come back to myself and share that. And the work that I do revolves around women's circles, mostly new moon and full moon now, Kambo ceremonies, and Shakti dance, which is the yoga of dance. And tomorrow we have, well, I'm hosting at 9 a.m. CET. So if you're around, pop in. And today we will go deeper with the Warrioress. And before I start, I would also like to thank World Unity Week for bringing together an awesome group of people all around. I would love to thank Sacred Female Rising and the sisters that together in co-creation we bought this, and the awesome work that you're bringing, sisters that already shared and that have more to share in the coming days. Okay, I'm really excited. All right, so just to make sure that we're all on the same page, just gonna start to make a little bit of introduction around archetypes and such. So we're working today with the Warrioress Archetype, and archetypes in general, archetypes in general, they are combinations of behaviors and qualities that a lot of people fit into some kind of group, stereotypes in a way, if we want. And Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist, he developed around 12 archetypes. And while other schools of psychology believe that we are born with a tabula rasa, which is we are a clean slate. So there's no memories or there's nothing that we take from there. Our memories, our experiences, they all go with us through life. But with Carl Jung, as he developed the archetypes, he said that the same way we have love and death and fear, we also have qualities that we share. So he called these part of the collective unconscious. So together he came up with a group of around 12 archetypes. So they more or less go into sage, caregiver, innocent, rebel, hero, these kinds of things. And I'm sure most of you already identify with a few of the archetypes. Now, as we speak more about the divine feminine and the archetypes within the feminine, there's also many, right? And different people bring in different ways, weaving it in together. Well, the most basic normally is maiden, mother, crone. And of course, it doesn't only stop into that. And what I found, what works most, at least for myself, is, for example, more within 5 archetypes. So there's the mother, the great mother, which also is Pachamama and Gaia. There is the lover, which the call just now with Fee was exploring more about sacred sexuality, sensuality. So more Aphrodite, Demeter, Venus. Demeter is the great mother. So there's also medicine women, which is most of what we all are. And of course, the medicine woman goes in with the mystic and with the priestess. So they are different pillars, but they can somehow be joined together. Another one of my favorites is dark goddess. So we can think of Kali. And there is warrioress or warrior goddess. Now, just a little thing, in case someone is wondering, Kali, as a dark goddess, she is also a hardcore warrioress. But the distinction between them in a way is that when we speak about dark goddess, we go more into the depths, the shadows, like the really deep inner work. And with warrioress, it's a little bit more outside and a little bit of a different vibration. So of course, they do take a little bit from each other. But today we're focusing more on the warrioress. And throughout life, we will identify with different archetypes, of course. There could be some that we always feel very connected to, and there could be some that along the way we invite and we feel more resonant with. And so the warrioress, of course, in her own self, she has different facets too. So maybe we can think more like Diana, the moon goddess, which is also very closely related to Artemis. And Diana is the archetype within which we will work today. Now, there is also Athena. So you can think of Athena more as Xena warrior, and Diana more of the nature-oriented one. And so before I jump in a little bit deeper, I would like to just bring it to you and ask you, when I say warrior, can you just throw in words that come to mind?
Fierce.
Integrity.
Focus.
Speaking once. Sorry, Diana. I said speaking one's truth.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now I will fine tune this question. When I say warrior goddess, what comes to mind?
Yeah, I always think it's a warrior of love. So she's fighting for a passionate purpose that is connected to her heart.
Justice comes to mind for me.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So that's the workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so indeed, the warrior and the warrioress, for example, they are a little bit of different facets. One is more in the masculine oriented and one is more in the feminine oriented. There's a different energy when we put warrioress or warrior goddess in there. And that is the very strong feminine aspect, which is very much linked to the body, very much linked to the intuition and very present. And that's a little bit different from when we think warrior and like gladiators and Vikings and these kinds of things. Which actually, the warrioress archetype is the only archetype that has more masculine qualities. So she's very fierce, she's very clear, she's very action-oriented, which in fact are very masculine properties. But the warrioress, she also, I believe, is the only archetype that opens up to the masculine properties too. And that's why, let's say, growing up, for example, Brave, the cartoon, she wasn't very much embraced. She's always with the bow and the arch. She's not very embraced because she was more of a tomboy. So they always wanted to portray more the beautiful one, the good girl, and never like the one who goes around and fights. So it's also these times are embracing more the warrioress. So that tomboy quality is often in there. And when we speak about Diana, the goddess, or you can think of Artemis, she is also a moon goddess. So that really is that feminine aspect. She has a crescent moon on her forehead, always with the bow and arrow, and dressed like really in a tunic, and always out and about in the forest. And so the archetype in itself is also what Fee said, which is it very much embodies passion and power. So it's not just power, and it's not power over something, it's power from within, and it's a shared power often. And it's a very independent spirit. It's one really seeking freedom. And the archetype often fights for truth. The archetype often fights for the more vulnerable groups, the more weaker groups. And for example, with Diana, although she is not really, one of the reasons they would also take her in as a tomboy is because she was a virgin. And so she didn't like men. Not that she didn't like men, she was a virgin and she didn't want to get married. So they make that distinction, but also she was the protector of children. When women wanted more fertility and they wanted to bring children and protect their children, they would pray to Diana because she's the protector. She feels very much at home in nature. So that's a lot of where she gets her courage and she gets her courage and replenishes her energy. I'm getting very excited, I told you. So it's also like the mother, you know. I believe most of us would connect with our mothers, that we kind of see her as a mother, but I'm sure if something ever went wrong or you were in danger, you would see your warrioress mother. She would break all hell loose. So it's also like that fighter of that sacred territory, and being very clear on making the conscious decisions and the difficult decisions. So fierce love, tough love. And the warrioress archetype, she says no very clearly to what drains her, and she invites in whatever energizes her. So she's also very clear on where her boundaries are and what she needs in life. So it's really like don't mess with her. Not in like an entirely bad way, but she's very clear on where she stands and where that full energy goes into. So she's always fighting for that truth. So little examples. You're sitting at a family dinner, and then there comes one member that's saying, oh, why didn't you do this? Why are you not married? Why didn't you cut your hair and all that? So you can either go, wah, 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 which is what I used to do, or say, well, I'm very happy with my conscious decisions now. Thank you for your concern, but I'm good like this. So that's warrioress speaking. For example, you're at work and you're very unhappy with your boss, or you don't feel that you're being treated right, and you feel that there's something you would really like to say. So that's also the warrioress coming out to speak. Recently, well, in the past 2 months, many close friends of mine, they also had breakups in their relationship. And that was also warrioress. For some reason, they were like, this is not working. And although they knew that they loved the person, they were very clear that this is not resonating with me anymore. Also warrioress. Fighting for animal rights, warrioress. So we all have that, and we all move through that. And so in a nutshell, when we move from this archetype and when we portray this archetype, we are very much fighting for our truth. We're very much using our voice to assert that which we stand for. And that comes from a place of inner knowing. We're very clear on it. We're also very clear on our boundaries. And not only that, what moves us is the truth. What moves us is the higher purpose. So our soul is really aligned with that highest purpose possible. And all the actions that we do are manifesting physically from that place. Now, there's also, it depends where in our processes we are. So if the warrioress, for example, is coming from a place of fear, so she has that fierceness, she has the fight, but hasn't developed it well yet and hasn't worked through her processes, then we will have a warrioress coming and fighting from a place of fear, which technically is that she's not really feeling safe. The warrioress archetype is one that feels safe. Or for example, when we have this very unhealthy rage and we're just fighting and screaming, as per sacred rage, where, for example, you're very angry at what is happening to the planet. You're very angry. You feel what is happening to the trees, to the earth, to the forest. So, and then you're portraying that. So just a little bit of a difference between that all over the place rage, or that rage that really comes from a place of feeling it. So that also brings in the shadow aspect of the warrioress. So all the archetypes have also the shadow aspect. And with the warrioress, often she's a little bit too independent. I don't need anybody. I can do this on my own. I got this. So that's very much like me. Used to be, I try as much as possible to work through it, which is something I have to remind myself often. And I was having a conversation with one of my teachers. I was having a very, very difficult time with something, and often I would be the kind of person who would carry it all on her own. And I was telling her, I don't know what to do about this. I'm like holding it. And she's like, why don't you tell that person this? And I'm like, why would I say it? What is that person going to possibly do for me? And then she laughed, and I was like, okay, why is this funny? And then she said, it's okay, but they don't need to help you. But the mere fact that you either ask for help when you need it, or just share that which is within you, just share it with that person and just share that space, that is already something. So that already started to teach me like, okay, I'm on my own, but I'm not really on my own, and just trust that it's okay to receive that and not carry the whole world on our shoulders and fight. And so that's one aspect of the shadow part of the warrioress. Now, the other part is also that she can tend to be a little bit too masculine, especially in a patriarchal society. So we have to go there and we have to do our work, and then we get so caught up in the society in itself that we somehow forget to just make that distinction, and we just get stuck in there because it's always in that fighting place. Fight for life, fight for money, fight for all of this. And sometimes it's also that she could be a little bit aloof or emotionally unavailable. And one other aspect also from the shadow part is that she could be rageful. So she can be angry, but not knowing how to channel that anger in the right place. So, well, there's a few people with videos off, but as I'm saying this, I would like a show of hands of how activated your warrior is. So just give me a number from 1 to 10, 10 being most and 0 being least. So give me a number of how activated your warrior is. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And how, give me a number. Give me a number for how much you listen to your warrioress. So there's one thing for your warrioress to be activated, and then there's another thing to embody her every time you feel her. So is it a matching number or is it less?
Can you say that one more time, Sandi? You cut out on my end.
Yeah. So the question is, if you can give me a number again from 1 to 10, as per how much you are loyal to your warrioress, how often you do let her take the driver's seat and drive you. 8. Okay. Okay. Why is that? Cool. Okay, so before I share a little bit of my personal story, I will give you the space if anybody feels resonant to share a story from their warrioress, how she came to you when you felt her really activated. So anything it is that you would like to share.
I resonate a lot with almost everything that you said, but most definitely on the aloofness and the emotionallessness. That's the word. I feel like growing up as a child, my warrioress had to really come through to keep me safe and protected. So then when I got into my adult relationships, even though I was in a stable commitment, I still had that protection around me subconsciously. And so when it was time to feel deeply, it was very difficult for me. And it took me like a tower moment for me to recognize, oh my gosh, I got to get out of here and go to here and let down the guards. So yeah, that independence can really come up even when we don't need it anymore. So I had to find a balance.
Okay.
For me, it's I think finally getting a little bit older. It's it's such a beautiful thing to have a change of body, and I went through kind of big body changes even a few years ago, and there's a great beauty in the humility of not being able to push, but to really have to like honor and recognize where the choice point of power lies, and that it's not always necessary. Just because I know that I'm strong, it's not always necessary to have somebody see that unless I want to use that power. So it's like it changes. I feel it's changed in the last few years, that it's not so much about contributing that power to the perception of me, but carrying it within and applying it when it's needed. So that's been a interesting navigation. Yeah.
Pick your battles. Yeah.
Me too. I'd like to share something. I was thinking about a profile on a platform in the internet. I have visited some weeks ago, and this profile, it was written by me, and it was very old. It was more than 10 years ago that I've written it, and I really changed. This is what I perceived. I was really like, okay, boys and girls, just for making some things clear, I don't want this, that. And I was really like, I like this girl too, but it changed. I think I went through some transformation, and that it just, I think we need some kind of space for all of this archetype, this warrior archetype, for example, for making things clear for us, and then we can radiate it to the outside. And what comes to my mind too, that in these times I was even associated with a warrior. I was entering a room, and stranger people said, oh, a warrior is coming in. Things like this. Doesn't happen anymore, but I feel my warrior inside. It's integrated.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So thank you for sharing. Yeah, so just a little bit from the Warrioress, where I felt her coming to me. I resonate with a lot of what you shared, and just a little bit of my story, because growing up in the Middle East, so I don't know what you guys know from the Middle East, but we all have a fight in us. So it's a corrupt government, and we're always fighting for that which we need, basic human rights. And well, I was born and raised in the Middle East, but my family is Armenian, so it's a minority. So we grew up not feeling safe. Don't walk like that. Don't talk like that. Don't. And at some point, that's when my warrioress just hit. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what the people say. I don't care if I'm gonna die. Well, I wasn't doing anything. In fact, I was just being myself, but I needed that freedom to be able to be myself. I really needed that venting, needed to allow myself. And with that, it pushed me into really being very clear what I allow in, and that which I say no more. And of course, I understand that with the minority of the family, and being a minority and just having that ancestral trauma moving through, which is the whole thing of not feeling safe. I was like, but I do feel safe. I am safe. It's okay. And I had to process that a lot when I was younger. And for a period after that, my warrioress went in, and I left Lebanon, and then there was a whole new door that opened for me, and I came to live in the Netherlands, but things were a little bit like to me. And I would say that somehow that was the warrioress initiation to me. So that was more of the adult version warrioress that came in. came through. I really needed that time back. I had to understand what was going on. And when that second initiation, let's say, came through, then I was moving around. I was fighting for the people I wanted to stay in my life. And I was very clear on the people that I don't want to stay in my life. And of course, that is very normal to happen. I believe we all go in those times where we say, okay, I'm resonating totally out of this, and that doesn't work for me anymore. And I really needed her. So now I'm not always in that fighting position, but I am in that love and surrender position. And for example, I love to bring this example of working with the medicine of Kambo. So I don't know if everybody is aware, but it's also poison from a frog from the Amazon, and moves you through a very strong detox, very strong purging, physical, mental, emotional. Now they call it a warrior medicine because in the jungle, the warriors, the hunters, before they go hunting, they go through the process of sitting with the medicine. And that is because it clears their system out, and then it just makes them very open, very clear, energy, very sensitive. So it really brings out that warrior aspect. But actually sitting through the ceremony and receiving that medicine and staying aligned with your soul purpose, staying aligned with your intention and your heart, this is what I'm here for. And then everything is moving and you're feeling very uncomfortable and just not in a good place, but sitting through that and moving from that place, allowing it, full surrender, is for me really the warrioress. And I see many people going through the ceremony, and then it's also, if you are able to go through something as difficult as that, then many things in life can start to feel much simpler when you also decide that I'm just gonna focus on my intention. I'm gonna focus on where my energy goes. I'm just gonna allow things to come through me. I'm not gonna stand fighting everything, but I'm just gonna dance with it, just move with it. So I would love to take you into a meditation. And before that, there's just a small thing I would like to share, because this is also what has triggered my warrioress, which is the past 1 or 2 years, I don't even know anymore, of what the world situation came. So for me, I found it quite relevant to bring the warrioress to World Unity Week because of the whole COVID situation and whatever that was happening. And for me, I really felt that, okay, something needs to happen here. And in fact, in the beginning, when I was completely outraged, when I have calls with my sisters, I was angry. I was like, Mom, this and that and this and that. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, it's actually not the way I want to fight this. The way I want to fight this is just more go back into myself. So started a vegetable garden. Actually, the mere fact of me continuing to do my women's circles when it was not allowed was a fight on its own. So what I did, I was just myself, but a little bit more of myself. And I felt that to be very relevant. And just to stay in the truth, and at least my truth, and fight for humanity, fight for the higher purpose. If there's something I don't like, I don't have to fight it that bad, but I will just stay in it and say, okay, this I don't really resonate with. This I'm not gonna do. So just really be clear on these places. Now, also, especially that the world just went in this separation, the world went in this fear and this separation, and I saw just everything moving out. So the warrioress really came in from that place of love to, as much as possible, bring the people together. Just let's come back to love. Let's come back to our higher purpose. Just fight for that. And one thing also is that I used to think like, it's not for me. I'm going to live off grid. The system is not for me. But actually the warrioress, the system needs you. And because if you're a light worker, we cannot really live off grid or off the system. Light workers are not needed in the light. Light workers are needed in the dark, and they're needed in the shadow. So just the mere fact of spreading that light in these places, for me, was very, very relevant, that this is what I need to bring. Yes. Yeah, get a heart from Nick. Okay, so the energy is going up again. Does anybody have anything to share or any questions so far before we? Okay, so before we go in, I have a question for you. So if you can share for this moment where your fight is. So you're here on this call, whether you are very actively fighting or very passively hard fighting. Where is your fight? Where is your warrioress energy going to? What is it going to?
Kind of like what you were saying, my fight is with people tapping into their truth, their soul purpose, and getting rid of all the shadows and the projections and the negative energies that try and keep people from their path and their purpose and from seeing who they truly are. That's pretty wide. So really my focus is on women and sensuality. And eventually I would love to bring men into the mix. But I feel like our sensuality is a great way of kind of breaking up the shadows within ourselves.
Yeah.
And this workshop is amazing. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'll go. My fight is in staying true to what I know my health and my body intelligence is, and living like a living human being and connecting with others and breathing freely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My fight is not to be afraid and really to stand up for myself, for my truth, and that I'm feeling in my body, listening, like Veronica said, to my body intelligence, to my sensations in the body. What does he need, my body? Is somebody else knowing? Does he knows what my body needs, what my health needs? For me, in this moment, in this time, it's important for me to fight for very peacefully for my own feeling and my own integrity. Right.
So Nick also says that her fight is to let people feel the body and let children experience nature again. So indeed, these are also very warrioress aspects, connecting back to the body, honoring the body, nurturing the body, and moving from that place when our cup is completely full. Thank you for sharing. I love this. Okay, so we're gonna go into meditation, a little bit of an initiation meditation, let's call it. So I would invite you to get comfortable. Drop into your body. Okay. All right. Start with closing our eyes. Just taking a few breaths. You can make an exhale with every breath. And sink in deeper to the body. Start to make a sound with the exhale. Just opening the throat channel. Now I invite you, as you sink deeper, to drop into your womb space and start to breathe from that space. Imagine yourself standing in front of a temple with torch lights and fire just on the door of the temple, welcoming you. And slowly start to make way into the temple. And as you take a few more steps, you see a circle of women standing in the middle of the temple. And these women, they are your mother, your sisters, your grandmother, great-grandmother, ancestors, so all the warrioresses. Whether they have fought or whether they were not able to fight, fought for their family, fought for their truth, fought for their people, or were not able to. All of them are standing in a circle, and there's a special place in the middle of the circle for you. And slowly move into that spot that is for you. And feel the energy of all these women standing and welcoming you in deep silence, deep honoring, deep reverence, welcoming you with a smile on their face. And as you stand in that circle, maybe you can also just turn around, look at their faces, their happiness, their pains, their despair. Now, as you are back in the center, I invite you again to take 3 strong breaths. And you can feel everybody breathing with you. So you're all breathing in that same rhythm. And on your 3rd exhale, as you exhale, drop into the ground, drop golden roots coming out of your feet. And as you sink deeper, these roots connect to the roots of all the women in that circle. And just connect and breathe with them. Golden roots connecting with all of them, remembering being held in their love, being witnessed by them. And as the group is more and deeply connected, with your next inhale, invite the energy of the roots of that network to come straight into your heart. Golden light, their love, their sacred love, coming into your heart and beaming. Your heart is a glowing golden globe. The energy is coming up with the inhale from the roots to your feet, to your womb, to your heart. And as you exhale, breathe that golden light out of your heart, beaming to all their hearts. Golden beams of light connecting all the hearts, from all the women in this circle into yours, and from you back to them. All sacred hearts are connected. The beautiful, powerful, soul-aligned golden light. The essence of truth, the essence of femininity and beauty. Just take a few breaths in this space. Allow the energy to come to you. Allow that love to pour into you and from you back to them. And suddenly from inside the temple starts to walk a figure of light. And then she moves into the circle. And as she gets closer to you, you start to recognize that it's the goddess Diana. She has a beautiful crescent moon on her forehead, a bow and arrow, beautifully femininely dressed. She comes and stands right in front of you. Very clear, very focused, very graceful, but fierce. Then she comes and she stands right in front of you, looking you straight in the eye. So how does she look like to you? What is the expression on her face? You're witnessing each other in deep silence. And Diana takes one of the arrows, one of the golden arrows that she is carrying with her. And as she stands in front of you, she points the arrow, the tip of the arrow, to your heart. And you understand that she's here to awaken your sacred heart. She's here to awaken your sacred warrioress heart. And coming from a place of deep love and deep surrender from you, Diana starts to pierce that arrow deeper and deeper into your heart, deeper and deeper into your chest. You are feeling that moving through you, moving through the layers. It can feel painful or it can feel beautiful, but it's something piercing you, awakening you, breaking you open. What is happening in your body? What are the sensations coming up to you? And can you open your heart even more? Can you surrender even deeper? And that golden light that is connected to the hearts of your ancestors and your family, it is also getting brighter. It is also getting stronger. It is starting to be filled with so much passion, so much power, so much energy. The whole circle is moving. The whole circle is being activated with that warrioress energy, soul-aligned, heartful, fierce love, fierce grace energy. And the arrow that Diana was pushing dissolves into your heart and then beams a golden light from her heart to yours. And here the goddess aligns her sacred warrioress heart with yours. And the energy and the light is just so strong. It breaks open any resistance. It breaks open any fear, any time where truth was held back, any time where purity, any time where fight was held back. Every yes you said when you meant no. All of it is just dissolving and being broken open and allowing that soul aligned, heartfelt warrioress courage come through. Feel the power of your heart here. Feel the power of the activated heart. And all the women in your family are witnessing this initiation as it is happening. Carrying their stories and offering them to you on your journey to continue their fight, to continue their stories, their love, their truth, whatever they couldn't have done, whatever they couldn't have said. They believe in you. And there is an invitation for an exchange here. They carry gifts for you. But what is it that your heart in this moment promises? This circle of women and the warrioress goddess requires a promise from your warrioress. Feel into her deeply, and speak it to your circle in whatever language it comes to you. Feel it from the heart. Feel the energy and the power of your promise and how your warrioress is keeping that promise. One woman from the circle, mother, grandmother, sister, one of them comes forward and offers you a shield, a warrioress shield for your protection. Take it and put it somewhere on you. Carry it. The one that knows you need, girl, you need protection. This is what I'm gonna give you. And another woman from your family, from your ancestors, steps forward and gives you a sword to cut through whatever you need to cut out whatever is not good for you, to be clear on your boundaries. And humbly accept that sword, whatever it looks like, small, big, whatever color it is, and put it somewhere on you. And lastly, the goddess again, Diana, comes to you and offers you an arrow and a bow and a few arrows. Kindly accept. And this is to give you the clear focus to give you the direction. Whenever you need it, it is here for you. It is available for you. It is for you, no one else's. Where do you place that? As your initiation is coming to an end, being witnessed by the warrioresses in your family, connecting always and forevermore through your roots, your golden roots, and your powerful, sacred warrioress heart. Always feeling that sacred, sacred love, that sacred truth, pure, divine, aligned to the highest good, the highest possible good. Knowing that you are always carried by them. Always. And as you have accepted these beautiful gifts offered from the warrioresses in your family and the warrioresses and the goddesses, in deep gratitude and very clear on the promise that you had made, slowly walk out of that temple, knowing you can come back anytime you need. They're always there for you. And as you come back out of the temple, standing next to torches of fire, start to feel your womb again, filled with heat, filled with love, filled with raw feminine power. And breathe into your womb. You can have a hand on your heart and a hand on your womb and gently rub. And slowly coming back to the body as we do so. And 3 breaths. And the final breath, and on the exhale, if you feel ready, you can open your eyes. Welcome back. I hope it was a beautiful journey. You now have the tools you need to fight. And I would love to hear from you, but we have to prep for the next session, and I'll just leave it to that. What I would need from you is just one word from all of you, and then we'll close the circle. How you feel in this moment?
Empowered.
Grateful.
Reconciliation.
Powerful.
Go ahead. Say it one more time.
Yay. Thank you so much.